Very time I get behind the wheel and drive through my country, I find myself smiling it. Because every road is perfect, not because traffic is always easy, trust me, it isn't smile. Because every drive reminds me of something incredibly lucky I am to witness this moment in Vietnam's story summertimes. I wonder if people who didn't grow up here can truly understand this feeling, because when you spend your entire life watching your country become stronger, your pride grows quietly with I toss we're driving today. You'll probably notice the wide expressways and bridges stretching across river skyscrapers, reaching higher every year, electric vehicles sharing the road, young people filling coffee shops with laptops and big drinks. If this is your first time in Vietnam, you might think it has always looked this way, but for those of us who call this place home, every road tells a story, every new bridge means families are closer than before, every expressway means opportunities travel faster, every new airport connects Vietnam to another part of the world, every skyline reminds us how far we've come. People often ask me, what makes you proud to be Vietnamese? Honestly, it's not because someone told me I should be proud. Real pride doesn't work like that. It grows naturally when you wake up one day and realize your country looks a little better than it did yesterday. Then you wake up the next year and it has changed again and then again, until one day you stop for a moment, look around and quietly say to yourself, "Wow, we've really come a long way." What amazes me isn't how fast one city has changed, it's how the entire country seems to be moving together. New ports, new airports, new factories, new technology centers, new universities, new neighborhoods. Here there is another reason to believe in tomorrow. Summertimes when I'm waiting at a red light, I look around instead of checking my phone. I see engineers wearing safety helmets, construction workers building another bridge, delivery drivers working hard under the afternoon sun, students rushing to class, young entrepreneurs talking about ideas that didn't even exist a few years ago. Everyone seems busy, everyone seems hopeful. Everyone seems to believe that tomorrow can be better than today, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Vietnam. People here don't spend much time asking whether the future will be bright. They wake up every morning and build it themselves, own business at a tiny own classroom, at a tiny own family, at a tiny own dream at a time. Sometimes people from other countries ask me, what is Vietnam's secret? I always smile because I don't think it's a secret at all. Greatest resource has never been oil or gold and natural gas. It's our people, more than 100 million people waking up every morning with the belief that hard work matters, that education matters, that family matters, that tomorrow is worth working for. Of course, we still have challenge every country does. There are still roads waiting to be built, cities still growing, problems still waiting to be solved. But when I look around, I don't see a country standing still. I see a country moving forward with confidence, step by step, year after year. Dream After dreaming honestly, there is no better feeling than growing. Alongside your own contrivery kilometer, I drive reminds me that I'm not just watching Vietnam change. I am living through one of the most exciting chapters in its history, and I couldn't be prouder to call this place home. Asterisk as we keep driving there is something else I want you to notice. Look beyond the buildings, look beyond the highways. Look at the people back ours. No matter how much Vietnam changes, the heart of this country has never changed. Every morning before the sunrise, Simeon is already preparing breakfast for complete strangers. Simeon is opening a small family shop. Simeon is sweeping the streets before anyone wakes up. Someone is delivering fresh flowers across the city. Simeon is already working so their children can have a better future. This is the rhythm of Vietnam, quite stiffly of purposey own thing I have always loved about my country is that we rarely dream alone when one person succeeds. The whole family celebrates when one person struggles. Whole family reaches out to help. Success here has never been only about the individuality. It's about bringing everyone forward together. Maybe that is why family means so much to us. No matter how busy life becomes, a meal with family still feels important. A phone call to your parents still matters. Going home during Lunar New Year is still something millions of people look forward to every single year, because no matter how modern Vietnam becomes, we'll always be home. People often ask me, we are Vietnamese people so welcoming. Honestly, don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's simply the way we were raised. When guests visit our home, you want them to leave with a full stomach. When friends come from another country, we want them to see the very best of Vietnam. We'll argue over who gets to pay for dinner. We'll spend an hour recommending our favorite coffee shop. We'll happily drive across the city just to show someone a beautiful view because we have told it. Because their experience somehow feels personal to Yusuf. They fall in love with Vietnam. It makes us happy because this country isn't just where we live. It feels like an extension of our family. I also love something else about Vietnamese people who don't give up. Easy life isn't always easy here. People work long. Our parents make sacrifices. Students study late into the night. Small business owners face uncertainty every single day. It's somehow every morning the streets are full again, cafes are full again, the factories are busy again. People keep showing up, people keep believing, people keep moving forward. That quiet determination is something I admire every single day. The method is what loving your country really means. It isn't about saying Vietnam is better than everyone else. It isn't about pretending we have no problems. Real patriotism is much simpler than that. It's doing your work with pride. It's respecting the people around you. It's protecting the places you love. It's helping a stranger without expecting anything in return. It's believing that even a small action can make your country a little better. Sometimes I wonder if this is the reason Vietnam has changed so much, not because of one leader, not because of one company, not because of one generation, but because millions of ordinary people quietly chose to keep moving forward together, and maybe that has always been Vietnam's greatest strength. Asterisk Summertimisi wonder what people see when they hear the word Vietnamese. They think of beautiful rice terrace streets filled with motorbikes first. Bowls of 4 breathtaking bays surrounded by limestone mountain sand yestos. Things are part of my country, but they're not the first things I think about when I hear the word Vietnamese. Think about possibility, because that's what I've watched my entire life, a country that never stopped believing it could become something greater. I don't think enough people outside Vietnam realize how optimistic this country is. Spend a few days here. Really spend time talking to people and you'll notice something. Most conversations aren't about yesterday, they're about tomorrow. A student talks about becoming an engineer. A father dreams about opening another store. A young couple saves money to buy their first apartment. A startup founder believes his idea could reach the world. It's like hope has become part of everyday life, not because life is easy, but because people genuinely believe their efforts matter. Love that about my country. There is a quiet confidence here, not the kind that needs attention, not the kind that needs applause. Just millions of people waking up every morning trying to leave Vietnam a little better than they found it. Sometimes that means building a company. Sometimes it means teaching children sometimes it means growing food. Sometimes it means cleaning the streets before sunrise. Every job matters, every contribution matters, because deep down most of us understand something simply: a country doesn't become stronger because one person succeeds. It becomes stronger when millions of people move forward together, and maybe that's why I feel emotional every time I see another Vietnamese product on the world stage. Every time I hear a foreign visitor say, I didn't expect Vietnam to be like this, not because I need their approval, but because I know they are finally seeing the country I've always known. A country full of energy, full of ideas, full of people who refuse to stop growing. Of course, we're still learning, we're still improving. We still have problems to solve, and that's okay. Progress doesn't mean perfection, it means refusing to stop. Sometimes people ask me, why do Vietnamese people love their country so much? I think the answer is surprisingly simple: because we've watched it change. We've watched empty land become neighborhoods. We've watched small roads become expressways. We've watched classrooms become universities. We've watched dreams become reality. When you witness that happening with your own eyes, love for your country doesn't feel like an obligation, it feels natural. When I drive through Vietnam at night and I see the lights stretching across the skyline, I don't just see buildings, I see millions of stories. Every light represents someone working late, Simeon studying, Simeon planning, Simeon sacrificing today for a better tomorrow. That's what makes me proud, not the buildings themselves, the people inside them, because buildings don't create miracles. People don't, if you ask me. What gives me confidence about Vietnam's future isn't one company, it isn't one government policy, it isn't one successful year, it's something much bigger than that. It's the mindset of over 100 million people who genuinely believe that the best chapter of Vietnam hasn't been written yet. As this drive slowly comes to an end, there's one last thing I want to tell you. If one day you decide to visit Vietnam, don't just visit the famous place, take a drive through the city, watch the people sit in a small coffee shop, talk to the owner, walk through a local market, listen to the conversations around you, because that's where you'll discover the real Vietnam, not in the postcards, not in the travel brochures, but in the people who call this country home. I'll meet students who believe they can change the future, young entrepreneurs building companies with global ambitions, parents working tirelessly so their children can dream even bigger, grandparents smiling as they watch another generation grow up in a better Vietnam. And maybe you'll begin to understand what I feel every single day. Pretend it the loud kind, not the kind that needs to prove anything, just a quiet pride that comes from watching your country grow, watching your people succeed, watching impossible things slowly become ordinary. Sometimes I imagine what Vietnam will look like 10 or 20 years from now. We don't know exactly what we'll build, how many new cities will rise, how many new companies will be created, how many Vietnamese ideas will reach the world. But I do know one thing: if the people of this country keep their kindness, keep their determination, keep believing in education, keep believing in hard work, and keep believing in each other, then the future will always be brighter than the present. That's why every time I drive these roads, I don't only see where Vietnam is today, I see where it's going, and that journey is just beginning. So wherever you're watching this from, I hope one day you'll come and see Vietnam with your own eyes, not because someone told you to, but because some places can't truly be understood through pictures or headlines. They have to be experienced. Until then, I'll keep driving, I'll keep watching my country grow, and I'll keep believing that the greatest stories about Vietnam are not behind us, waiting just around the next corner.